This is blockchain. Time is short. Come on. 4 months, that's like 4 years in other industries. Happy to talk to you offline about that. You guys are the very first audience on the planet to hear about the new boot up process, by the way, so yeah, you.
Yeah.
And by next week, it might all be different, who knows? But that's the current best thinking, I promise you. Next question.
Thanks so much for describing the boot up process. I'm Eric Coelho from Oregon University.
Eric.
And I just wanted to ask, so in delegated proof of stake, which I think is
Another one bites the dust.
Yeah. Delegated proof of stake, very, I think, effective incentive mechanism, but it kind of relies on two constants, right? One is having a good distribution, which I think the EOS contract kind of guarantees. And then, excellent. And then the other is incentivizing voting. And my question is, some of the other delegated proof of stake chains have kind of run into some issues, depending on your perspective of how bad they are, concerning voter incentives, and particularly in terms of like kickbacks for voting certain ways and so on. So, but if there are no kickbacks, it's particularly if there's a market, for example, like a rental market for, say, renting out your bandwidth, right? So if I own EOS tokens, I might want to rent out my bandwidth to some DApp developer, and if that involves locking up my tokens, and then voting involves locking up my tokens, I might be kind of economically incentivized not to vote. So my question would be, how can you kind of make sure that there's a large enough community that's participating in the voting and governance process that isn't kind of off trying to rent out their bandwidth or their stake in RAM and so on, and that just ends up superseding the voter?
So the challenge for us is, I'll recap the question as best I can, Eric, I'll do it, right? Sure. Is that the chain is only as secure and well run as the voters require the block producers to be. And if the voters, let's say a subset of the voters, collude with some of the block producers to somehow rip off the chain name, that could be bad. Or if too many of the voters just don't pay attention. Or if the voters vote for reasons other than the intrinsic value of those block producers as good, trustworthy producers. So how do we incentivize good, thoughtful voting? And the answer we've come up so far is this. When you choose to vote your tokens, when you stake, you must stake them in order to vote. So you've got a pool of unused tokens, you take a portion of them and you stake them over here in voting. They're no longer available for bandwidth or storage. And they are locked up for as long as you want to be voting, plus 6 months. So let's say you put 600 tokens over there in voting, and then you say, I'm done voting, give me my tokens back. Then over a 26-week period, you'll get 1/26 each week of your tokens back, and they'll trickle it back to you. Which means if you make stupid votes with a large number of tokens, you're exposed to the long-term impact of your stupid vote. And so if someone were to spend, I don't know, hundreds of millions of dollars buying lots of tokens in order to harm the platform, they now have to sit there and watch their token value erode from their own stupidity. It's like buying a house to burn it down. It's just dumb.
So they get a block reward for locking up staking and voting?
There is no block reward. The only reward for voting is getting a good block producer. It is intrinsic reward only. And we are establishing as a norm off-chain that block producers paying for votes is bad, evil, and wrong. Because when you vote, you are producing a public good. You are using your judgment to say these are good block producers. And the entire community benefits when you do that well. It is literally a public good in the technical definition of that term. And we need that. And that means if people aren't willing to take it seriously and be invested for the long term and stand by their vote for 6 months, they shouldn't vote. And the people who plan to be in this platform for the long term have every incentive to lock up some of their tokens to make sure they're good block producers. And that's the current plan. And we'll find out if it works. Question?
So
your name is?
My name is Jiang Zhu. I have a couple of questions. One is on producer, the other is on VC. partnership model. Some producers, even though they talk about the dynamic producer number just recently, but let's say right now 21 is the default number. And then what is the mechanism for other outside of that 21 producer who could be future candidate producers? How would they get incentivized to keep on the queue for potential future?
So glad you asked that. I overlooked mentioning that. Let me answer that.
Okay, first.
So every time a block is produced, a certain number of new tokens are generated as inflation to pay for block production. The block production fee is split into two streams. One goes into whoever created that block, the other goes into a bucket. And that bucket is available for a once-a-day draw for the top 121 block producers and candidates based on their percentage of the total vote. So if you've got 3% of the vote, you're in 27th place, you're not producing blocks, but you got 3%. Well, once a day you go and you get 3% of that bucket. Yay you. And that amounts to quite a lot of money. That's a big incentive to keep your servers warm, maybe use them for other things, but you're ready to jump in and be a block producer if you're asked. And that stream of money incentivizes you to do two things. One is stay in the block production game, and two, campaign for votes. Campaign, educate, outreach, public service, all the things that are going to incentivize people to vote for you. Every additional vote is additional money for you.
And the payment will be according to the percentage of vote they got last time.
Yes.
Second thing is on the blog one, which we talk about this VC partnership program. Obviously, it's great to get the funding sort of back to the community to fund those potential gas. But in terms of the benefit and interest, how is that model going to work out? So let's say blog one and tomorrow partner up together and they invest in something. It is, let's say, 50-50. Will that potentially crowd out some participation from community in future in those projects? And also, the other thing is that every PM have this air job is we profit that as existing corporate benefits from that. But it also, in my mind, kind of perpetuate some sort of initial stake distribution in EOS into a new project. For some whales in EOS, they probably get an unproportional big stake in future L job type of projects as well. So in that case, it's like this kind of distribution model perpetuated into different projects, which is not necessarily healthy for the community.
That is a really important question. So the way I heard the question is this. Number one is the VC funding going to crowd out non-VC funding? That's part of it.
Like ICO, then community can participate.
Right, as an ICO, you can participate, but in a venture capital, you and I might be frozen out. And the short answer is I have no idea. There's a risk of that. We're going to find out what happens. My belief is that there's more than enough pie to go around. There's going to be a lot of applications that the VCs may not happen to get to. They can still do ICOs, and I hope they do. Secondly, you asked about airdrops and the ways in which those tokens will be distributed, maybe disproportionately to early adopters rather than late adopters. Is that your major point?
Yeah, if the airdrop is according to the current EOS stake you have, therefore that distribution will, whatever distribution in EOS universe, will reflect in those projects.
Right. So right now, we're so on the edge of talking about token distribution right now. The lawyers here, and not that there's anyone recording me. I'm going to tiptoe on this. So it's up to Everpedia what they do. And if they did a simple, not very thoughtful airdrop, which I don't think they're doing, if they did, people who have tokens today, which isn't even June yet, would get Everpedia tokens. People who buy in like late May, who are also EOS holders now because they bought in May, but they don't get that tokens because the airdrop's done, right? How fair is that? And my answer is, I have no idea, and I hope you'll ask them. Now, airdrops airdrops that happen after June obviously will follow a different model. But I don't know how they handle that. And I'll be curious myself. It's an important question.
Everpedia will be here on the 22nd as well.
So come back on the 22nd and ask them and then tell me what they said.
We got another question.
Yes, please.
Yep, yet another question about block production.
Hang on, I've got a guy in the back and a woman in the front, and she's like, "Oh, go ahead without me. Stop that."
Just try to be nice.
I will defer to your judgment. And
Okay.
yes,
Okay, another question about block production. So how does the constitutional layer, if any, either protect or regulate against bad actors in block production? So, for example, 21 delegates are voted for, and they all decide amongst themselves to raise the median inflation to the maximum that they can get after election.
sure. Let's imagine that happens. So it's round 27. The blockchain's been up for 27 minutes, and unbeknownst to us, the 21 who happen to get voted in are on some conference call. They're like, "Okay, let's crank it up." Would your vote change if the guys you voted for suddenly cranked up their own income through the roof? Mine would. In fact, I might even have a tripwire set up where I might shift my votes. Whereupon they're removed from office by about minute 32. But hey, they got an extra $27 each, so good job. And now their reputation is sullied, because the blockchain is forever. So yeah, my sense is it's possible, but it's awfully unlikely. It's like OPEC, how well, that's like 7 countries, and they can't get together.